Hi.
Hello, welcome back.
This is the JK Not Really podcast. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Jacqueline.
And we got episode 16. A lot going on in the news.
Yes.
I guess the first thing we should start off with is the Pope's funeral, right?
No, the Pope's first Mass.
Oh, sorry, Pope's first Mass. The funeral happened last week.
Yeah.
This week, the Mass happened.
Yeah, now he's starting to do his duties.
Okay. And it was attended by the Vice President JD Vance.
Right.
How come Trump doesn't attend these things?
Well, he's just not. He can't handle. You saw what happened the last time he went to church when he was running. I mean, well, he won and he had to go to that church, remember? And the priest or pastor, she scolded him in a sense,
The pews started shaking
and it was like God. It was like Damien all over again.
Well, So JD Vance went.
Yes,
right?
he did go with his wife.
He did get somewhat of a licking. I know that the Pope kind of talked about, being critical on nationalism and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure JD Vance really enjoyed that. And he just turned Catholic in 2019. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All of a sudden he became
he's Catholic since 2019.
I wonder what he was before. Huh, that's interesting news. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did. He did meet with him afterwards, after the Mass. He shook his hand. I mean,
Handed him a note from Daddy.
Yeah, he did take him a note from Daddy, and his daddy pinned it on his little tie so he wouldn't forget. And he gave it to the Pope, and it was an invitation from President Trump and Melania for the Pope to come and
Eat McDonald's.
at the White House. And of course, the Pope took it and he put it way over there.
He's like, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Anyway, at least he shook his hand. We got to check and see.
Yeah, everyone's saying it looked like it was a sign of, the tension being released, or they're both public figures.
Yeah, but he's the angel of death, for God's sake.
That's what I said.
He touched
was probably
him.
like,
Oh.
why are they sending JD Vance?
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Too much.
Even Rubio was there, and I think he was there with his wife as well. I mean, there are a lot of people there.
Well, and that was, that's a new chapter and some solemn news as well. But the big item, I think we should just get out of the way, was Biden's cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
So Biden came forward and they said that he has been diagnosed with aggressive form of prostate cancer that's metastasized to his bones. The diagnosis is made on the 16th, which is very recent.
Right.
So it looks like it's a highly aggressive cancer, but they're saying that it's hormone sensitive, so it's making it responsive to treatments. And so, first off, the Biden administration, his presidential administration, I don't think it gets enough credit.
Well, that's true. He doesn't, of course not.
The work he did when he was president.
They did great work. I
mean, they got us out of COVID. The interest rates were high, but we had a horrible economy left by the last administration.
Right.
And when he left office, the economy was the envy of the world.
It was. It was great. Now look at it now. He's God, Trump is totally just crushing that.
Well, and I think Biden was good about keeping it business as usual, especially right after a worldwide pandemic that we've never experienced.
That was hard, and to have that burden on his presidency was tough. But he got us through it, so you got to give him that.
And with very few scandals. Except the debate, that was like the.
Oh well, that was that. Yeah, no one expected that. I don't think. Well, at least us. I'm wondering if this diagnosis is really it's going to put an effect on his legacy. That's what I'm kind of worried about. I mean, he did some great things, but now everybody's talking about when did they know? I mean, he should have. Did he know? Did his staff know? I mean, because of his performance at the debate.
I mean, the debate
that was not good.
Yeah, it showed that he wasn't really with it.
Yeah, something was really wrong.
And it kind of just when you're running against Trump, to give him that kind of ammunition and his people, such a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
They should have never allowed
one
him to
of
go
the
on.
reasons why
Yeah.
we were unsuccessful in that election. One of the big reasons, this is before Trump actually said on stage that people were eating cats and dogs.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? And still, I feel like Biden's performance left a worse taste in people's mouth than that craziness that was happening. So
I know.
I mean, when you look at how things went down,
Well, it was
I
shocking.
can see why people are skeptical.
Yeah.
When did people know?
Yeah.
What was really happening when he was president?
Yeah. Because if they knew, and they knew a while ago, that would have helped us out. If he decided, okay, I'm sick, I'm going to get out of it, that would have given us more time. Maybe we could have had a primary and to choose something. Or even had Kamala do it as well. But she only had 3 months, for God's sake. Nobody could put it together. Although she did a damn good job for 3 months. Really, she did.
No, I mean, it was an amazing
Yeah.
campaign.
But, I mean, we probably wouldn't have Trump right now if that was the case.
If it had happened differently.
Yes.
If Biden had, if he did, this is a big if, because
It's a
we don't
big if.
know
No one
that
knows.
he knew or
Yeah.
whatever,
But
but
this
that's
is what's
what
out
people are
there.
insinuating.
Yeah.
So if he had known, like, earlier that he was not up to snuff to be president or running for president, because that's part of the job.
Right.
When you're the incumbent president,
Right.
is running for president for the next term.
You're right.
If he had known that he wasn't up for that, and he had released to Kamala earlier, instead of being forced, I think, the way he was by Pelosi, I think that it would have helped Kamala win, first off. Second off, preserved his legacy, because then he would have always been known as the person that, like, handed it to the younger generation, instilled the first woman president. Can you imagine if he had stepped down and made the vice president the president? I mean,
know.
what a huge opportunity missed
Very well missed.
to keep our party in power. But the other thing is, had Kamala won, no matter what had happened, right? Had Kamala won, he would have his reputation intact because he did step down. Remember when he stepped down, everyone was saying, thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Biden. Thank you, Biden.
What a
Yes.
selfless thing to do. Da, da,
Yes.
da.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's only because we lost that
That's why
we're
they're
like, he didn't
talking.
do it soon enough.
Well, that's a good point, Kurt. That's a good point. And then now this new book's come out. The authors are Jack Tapper and Alex Thompson. I guess they work for CNN. I think they're reporters or whatever. And the book is called Original Sin. And there's a big controversy about this book because they're basically saying that they were hiding something. They knew he was sick and all this stuff's coming out. Well, my question is, okay, if you're a reporter, isn't your obligation to report the news? I mean, if you knew that was happening, then why didn't you report it when it was happening instead of waiting till your book comes out, save it, and then to promote your book?
So,
I mean, were there sources? Did they just get the sources
it's
now?
possible. There's a few possibilities, right? Maybe they were pressured by the administration, but also maybe they were hoping, like, let's not defame him while they're running for president because we don't want the Democrats to lose.
Well, that's a possibility.
CNN has adapted, let's say, and has made a right turn and has become way more conservative of a news network. So, maybe they were playing the field. Maybe they didn't want to go that route, but otherwise, with that being out there...
Well, that book is really, it's really raising this question. Frankly, why are we even talking about it? Well, you're saying it's because we lost. I think we should just let it go, okay? Why waste our energy on, well, what if and what if and what if and what if? I mean, you got to kind of let that shit go. We have to look at the future, because we're just feeding the Republicans to talk more about it.
Ultimately,
yes, he did.
Step down,
he did.
Right? So maybe he didn't do it soon enough, but at some point it became apparent that he had to do what he had to do.
I just don't believe that Joe Biden would have refused to not run. If he knew he was sick, I think he would have
Well,
done
if
it.
we weren't all sensationalists now,
Yeah.
and we were actually voting for someone who was doing a good job, we would have voted or had good policy.
Yeah.
We would have voted for Biden. Even
Right.
if he was old and having his senior moments on a stage,
Right.
we would look at the economy, we would look at everything he was doing and be like, this is a good presidency.
Yes.
We're actually doing really well.
Right.
But that's not what happens anymore. People want sensationalism. They want, you know, these, and that's why I think Kamala
Yeah.
did so well.
Right.
And, you know, it's funny. I volunteered for her campaign, and I said her name like a million times. And today I'm
Just call her Harris.
I used to
Vice
say-
President Harris.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
go for it,
Vice
last name.
President Harris.
Yeah.
The former vice president.
Former vice president. Well, she's still vice
She,
president to me.
you know, she did do a sensationalist campaign. She
Yeah, she
was
did.
out there, but like if we're gonna go and dissect the problems, is she didn't do enough grassroots. She didn't do enough of the podcasts and speaking to the
Right.
internet, because people aren't getting their news from CNN, MSNBC. Like
Right.
a lot of people are getting it from like YouTubers and
Right.
you know, and Trump was
Well, they've been
out
doing.
there doing it with every video game Twitch
Yeah.
streamer, you know.
Well, they've been doing that, Kurt, for decades. For decades. So
and
yeah,
that's how they get the young male vote.
yeah,
right?
that's what they were going for.
But now, that's
What?
who they're targeting with the Medicaid removal, right? They're saying there's no reason any young men should be on Medicaid.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. So I mean, they all voted for him, and now they're all gonna get screwed.
They're
Just
totally
all
gonna-
remember that, everybody.
Yeah, they have to. You have to remember that. And then the thing is like I said before, we shouldn't even be talking about this Biden thing. It should be go because you know what we should put our energy on. I mean, look at the guy in charge right now. I mean, for God's sake, he falls asleep. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Why don't we start judging him about? Well, maybe there's something wrong with him. Did he take the test? Does he have? You know, is something going on with him? He lies about his physical.
He
You
said
know,
he's 6'3" and
yes,
220 pounds. My ass.
Yeah, I mean, come on, and that he's so smart because he passed the cognitive test. He's so proud of that, you know, and I mean, he's still talking about it even now because of all this thing with Biden coming up.
And
It's-
let's not forget that he's trying to get a gifted
Oh
flying palace, which is still controversial.
yeah,
But he's not going to get it. He's
I don't
not
think he
going to
will.
get it.
I don't think he
But
will.
like the fact that he's trying to, I mean, it's
I
just
know.
too much.
that's too much.
But you know, that being said, looking into the future,
yeah.
you know, like who is going to be the 2028 presidential?
candidate.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like, share,
Subscribe
subscribe, and ring the little bell. Everything you do to interact with these videos helps us to keep coming back. So thanks so much.
Yes, thank you guys.
Bye.
Candidates,
right?
Well, there's a lot of names that are out there. You know, I think Pete Buttigieg he's already out there doing his thing.
He's good. I mean, he's really good at like belting it out on the news networks.
Yeah, and he goes to the enemy. He goes to he goes on Fox.
And when he's in a debate, he holds his
Oh,
own.
he holds his own.
He's very good. I still think, you know, if it were me and it was a perfect world and everyone wasn't, you know, a horrible, crazy, sensationalist weirdo,
Yeah.
I would say Kamala Harris would still be an excellent
Well,
president.
I think so too.
And
But I'm
is
so
top of the list.
well, it's top of the list. But the thing is I'm so afraid. I think I'm going through some kind of, I don't know, traumatic
Well, women are being
syndrome because I really want to win, and I'm so afraid that.
women are being targeted right now.
Oh my God.
Like in general. So
Oh.
like I can't imagine. You know I can't imagine that the Democratic Party, first of all, is going to say this is a good idea. Let's try it again.
Well, maybe not this round.
And third of all, yeah, I think that it's just not the season, right?
No, I guess
We're
not.
in a weird conservative season. Although those people are gonna, you know, they're learning. I think they're learning through trial by fire.
Exactly. exactly. There a lot of remorse, buyer's remorse.
But Pete Buttigieg would be good, but he's
Yeah.
gay.
I know, that's another
So
thing.
that's another hot topic. Then you have Gavin Newsom. He's like the Obama.
Well,
he's like the white
Obama. He really is. He's handsome. You know, he's a white guy. And he's trying to be more central now. He's kind of changing his tune a little bit.
But I think he's getting a bad rap. First of all, the
Because of
Republicans
California?
hate California for whatever reason. They just don't like it. And then second, the LA fires. Right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, did he handle it correctly? I think that was more the mayor of LA's fault. But
yeah. Well,
not
that's a hard one.
Not a good national
Yeah.
story to have under your belt.
No. Yeah, that's a whole episode talking about the fires and what they should have done and what they missed on. Yeah, but you know, he kind of fits the bill in a sense. Oh, look, and then there's Tim Walz.
The governor of Minnesota.
I loved him.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, why don't you just mind your own business? You don't belong in the bedroom. Mind your own business.
That was a policy I could get behind because that's one of
Yes.
the most American things
Yes.
I think anyone said up there.
Yeah.
During that thing, he was just like, why do you guys care about who's going into what bathroom? Mind your own business.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, he was good. God.
Tim Walz would be great. I think that the conservatives actually could get behind him because he's an old, you know, dad, like white dad, Midwestern dad.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that you could ask him to, you know, how can I fix my sink? And he'll tell you how.
Yeah.
You know, he's that kind of guy, you know?
And he's very hands-on, and he's not the best. I would say he's not like the best speaker, but he's very authentic.
Authentic. That's true.
Yeah.
And then we have Josh Shapiro. Well, he was a contender, you know, for the vice president choice for Harris.
I'm not like very familiar with Josh Shapiro. He's not really out there for me too much.
Well, yeah, he is Jewish though.
Again, that's a hot button.
I know, and it's awful. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be.
Did you?
He's
hear
very
about-
popular in his state.
Speaking, just to get this out there.
What?
Have you heard about Kanye West's new album that he put out?
Oh God, no.
Oh my God! It's
God.
the cover art is like two Ku Klux Klan members like embracing.
Are you kidding?
One of the songs literally says Heil Hitler in it.
Oh my!
As the chorus.
Oh my God! Like, you're kidding me!
No, it's the most anti-Semitic album.
Oh Jesus!
And like Spotify and YouTube are trying to get it off the
What
platforms.
the
They're like,
hell is wrong with that
but
guy?
people-
He's black, for God's sake.
and people are like the comments I see on any mention of it. I mean, you right-wing people need to find Jesus. That's all I gotta say. Because how dare you?
Oh my God, that's not cool.
I mean, if you want to be a Nazi, you know, I
do
don't
it in
know.
your garage.
Why though?
Yeah, but why?
Why do you want to be a Nazi? That didn't work out well for the Nazis, in case you all remember.
Sure. Yeah, it didn't work out very well. Yeah.
And you know why it won't work out well again is because you're going to always be on the wrong side of history.
True.
I mean,
That's true.
good will always prevail because that's just what the balance is, right?
It does. It does.
You know, if we're going to be the bad people this time, you know, maybe Canada, Australia, maybe they're going to come and bomb us in Trump's suicide bunker or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Or his palace in the sky. It might be Saudi Arabia that'll do it. Okay, we're turning him off. We don't like his deal.
But let's not forget, the whole world came and destroyed Germany.
That's true. Yes.
Right? So, like,
that's true.
if you want to be a Nazi,
That's
sorry.
what's gonna happen.
We're talking about Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, but he is very well liked in his state. He's a great guy. I think he'd make a great president. Actually, I really do. I really do.
And then we have Alexandria
Cortez.
Ocasio-Cortez. I'm sorry, I'm running it.
AOC
is what I call her.
I love her. I
think
love
she's
her.
amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if
She's
this
a
is
little
her time.
polarizing.
Yeah.
Because she's very...
But she says it like it is.
She's very liberal. And that's what I like about her is
Yes.
because she doesn't like pussyfoot around immigration.
No, nothing.
She's like, immigration is good for our country, which it
Yeah.
is. I totally believe it. She's
Yeah.
like, they farm our food. They do essential services.
Mm-hmm.
We need people
Yep.
to immigrate here. And that's what she's like, and I was like, yes. Like, thank God someone isn't just there like, we need to also have conservative...
That's what Kamala should have said.
She should have.
That's what she should have said.
You don't want to like skirt around the issue and go
and try to have everybody like you and just be in the middle. No, take a stand. And that's what AOC does. And it's about everything, not just immigration, about women's issues, about racial issues, everything.
One of the things I really like
Health
about
issues.
her is when someone came at her. It was it was a Republican politician. And I can't remember who. But they told her, they were like, what do you know? You were just a waitress.
Yeah, or
And
a
she's
bartender.
like, hell yeah, I was. She's like, and I'm so proud that I worked for a living. She's like, just like my constituents. How many of my constituents are working class people? I'm more
Exactly.
like the people I'm representing than you
are.
are. And I was like,
Yay! I love her.
she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was a bartender.
Yes. No.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. I think she'd make a good president.
Okay, I
but
think
I don't know if
it
she's
should be
ready yet.
Okay, but, and this name isn't on here, which makes me mad.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders
Oh.
and AOC.
Oh,
together.
Oh, yes. So her the president, him the vice president,
Or
or
even
other
the
way,
other way around. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, he'd be a good president and her a vice president because she's really young.
that's true. In
And
case
he's,
something.
he is old.
But you know what? He has so much energy on him. You watch him at the rallies and stuff. He's like running out there to the stage, doing flips and cartwheels and stuff. No, he really is, and he has a lot of energy. He doesn't strike me as an old guy, although he is.
I think he would do
He
those
would do
two
well.
together because
Yes.
they're already like.
Yes.
I think they could get the right wing. I think they
Yes.
could get some of the right wing on their side. I think they could get some of the young voters. Definitely, a ton of the young voters.
Oh well, yeah,
The millennial vote, which is huge, would
yeah.
go for it.
for sure.
And I think Democrats could get behind it. I think you'd honestly have a harder time with the more conservative centrist Democrats with AOC and Bernie.
Yeah, that's true.
Than you would with most Republicans.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but God.
that
That would only be in a perfect world, though.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
We'll see what
They're
happens.
building momentum.
Now here's a few more, but I don't
JB
know.
Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
Oh,
Potential candidate.
I don't know much about him.
Fundraising. Okay. Wes Moore, governor
From
of
Maryland.
Maryland.
I don't know much about him.
Andy
either.
Beshear, Kentucky.
Oh, I know Wes Moore. He was the one in Maryland,
And John Ossoff.
Baltimore.
Oh.
Or am I thinking of the
Yeah.
governor? Is
That
he
is
in the
the
governor?
governor, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. I like him a lot.
John Ossoff.
Ossoff.
It's
From
funny that
Georgia.
Kentucky and Georgia both have Democratic governors. But they vote like red in presidential elections. So, I mean, those are all good names for a...
Yeah, I guess to start out, but you never know. There may be some black horse that'll come in. Who knows? But we got to start thinking about it. We really got to start thinking about it and we got to pick it, and the Democrats have to fall behind and go for it. That's what we got to do instead of talking about all this stuff with the Biden's
like instead of
legacy and all this stuff.
Well, while
what
this
if?
is going on, I think is a perfect opportunity to put someone in front and get them out there.
Yep. I think so too.
Trump campaigned the entire Biden presidency.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, he
Through
was.
the whole damn thing.
Yes.
Okay, and we're 100-some days, and we need to have someone, I think, up
Yeah.
and center.
We need to be
that
starting
we
right
can get
now.
behind.
Right now. Well, what's next is we
The
need
Supreme Court in
Yes,
general.
We just have we have to talk about that. Well, one good thing that they banned or blocked, and that was that Aliens Enemies Act.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The court issued a 5-4 decision permitting administration.
Oh, it was
to
5 to
proceed.
4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
provided detainees receive adequate notice and opportunity to challenge their removal.
Okay.
And, you know, there's been
thought it
some
was
bumps
more
in the
than that.
road. Mm-hmm. No, it's
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, well, it still is good. Of course,
It's still
you know,
good, but you know who's out of the 4. But anyways.
Well, Alito and
we'll get to them.
Yeah, God.
But, I mean, it's good. There's been some bumps in the road, I've heard. So one thing is they were like, okay, adequate notice. And they gave them 24 hours. And they informed them with, like, a letter that didn't give them any, like, recourse. It didn't say, like, here's what you could do if you feel like this. Nothing. It was just like, you're being deported, blah, blah, blah. 24 hours.
That's not enough time.
And no, so they got, you know, of course someone took them to court and was like, no, this isn't, that's not adequate.
Yeah.
So they keep trying to push the envelope of what they can do. And, you know, they tried, and they're arguing right now about which one was it? They're arguing right now about the birthright. And with that came the injunction argument. And did you hear that now?
Oh, yeah. That's ridiculous.
It was horrible. I mean, he was basically saying they're trying to say you can't do injunctions, nationwide injunctions, federal judges that uphold the Constitution. They can't go like, boom, that's unconstitutional. Sorry, you can't do that.
Right.
And they're trying to say that they can't stop the executive branch with injunctions.
I know. Well,
and that needs to stop. And the Supreme Court was like, well, how do we keep you to follow the Constitution?
Exactly. I know. And the four women on you know, the judges, they reamed that attorney. I don't know if you listened to it, but yeah.
I did.
Yeah, they reamed it. They're like, what the heck? You know, is this what you're saying? Is this what you're saying?
Well, it'd be like, so everyone would have to get an attorney.
Yeah,
and sue, and by that time you're already in a Venezuelan gulag. You know what I mean? You're already in El Salvador.
You're already there, basking in the sun in the cage.
Yeah, you're already in El Salvador, being tortured. No one can find you, and you're supposed to hire an attorney and sue the federal government. I'm sorry. And then also the resources. So like, the normal person does not have the money that the federal government has. So
no, they don't.
It doesn't protect the people. It doesn't level the playing field. And that's what the Constitution does.
I know. No, I see what Trump's trying to do. I don't think they're going to fall for it. I do not think that
Well, they still need to do a ruling on it. And I'm hoping that they...
I hope they don't fall for it because, you know, it's their jobs they're getting rid of, to tell you the truth. They're giving away their power. I mean, seriously, then why have them?
Well, and they're like, oh, every case would have to make it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court can't see every damn case against the federal government to uphold the Constitution. It's stupid.
It's stupid, and I don't think it's going to... at least, that's what I think.
But
anyway.
I'm hoping that the Supreme Court just holds out. We have some bad apples there.
Oh, we have
we need
2 of them for sure. 2 of them for sure. Well, and what's going on now, Trump had to go to the White House, to the Capitol, because he's pushing this bill, the big, beautiful bill.
Oh, but it's not going through.
Well,
maybe it might. But
well, that's why he was there. He was over there.
He's
basically
pressuring.
He's threatening and pressuring people, and he's trying to talk about stuff. And you listen to that guy talk. That's what I mean. He passed the cognitive test. Really? He just rambles on, and then he says, you know, well, it's too bad Biden, you know, stage 9. I mean, what the there's no stage 9. Cancer. I think he meant something else.
Well,
but
then you
anyway.
have like Chuck E. Cheese, what's his face?
Johnson. And he was
and
like...
he's up there with his glasses and his Bible and his pedo face.
Pedo face, just nodding his head to everything that
Trump
Trump
is saying. That guy has no spine.
None.
He has no ambition. He's a total cuck.
Yep.
And you know what?
Maybe he...
Whatever.
Yeah.
We hate you.
We hate you. Oh,
Maybe we'll add him to the list.
Maybe we'll add him to the list. Well, I did have to put that in there. So I don't know when we're going to find out.
But how embarrassing that his first attempt to pass that big, beautiful bill, that even the MAGAs were like, no. Because it's suicide.
Yes, because it's taking money away from Medicaid. And a lot of their constituents, you know, for the Republicans, They totally rely on that.
Oh, if you want to lose the next election, take away people's Medicaid.
Josh Hawley, of all guys, he was the one that outright spoke against it and said, no, I can't vote for this bill. I can't do that. And they're just cutting all this stuff. And
well, I mean, you had people in wheelchairs protesting this thing.
Yes.
And they're like screaming in the halls, and they're like, "You're gonna kill me."
Yeah. Yeah, they had
"You're
to
gonna
escort
kill
them
me."
out. Yeah.
And they're rolling these poor people out.
Oh, they're rolling them out, but they're yelling and, good for them.
I mean,
Damn.
good, because that's what will happen. People will die if you take away Medicaid. So that's like good on these MAGA people. If they can be coerced by this bill in any fashion, it's going to be a huge problem.
And if they're worried about their re-elections, for God's sake, they're going to lose either way. So they might as well stand up to something, And they're doing all this because they want the big tax cuts for the billionaires and cut out all the regulations and stuff. And so,
well, they're going to say, like, put something in there that makes me able to vote.
And
for
if it's
this.
such a big, beautiful bill, why are they going to do it at 1:00 in the morning, scheduled to vote on it?
Because that's the Nazi way of doing things.
No, they're
You do
doing it
them in
because
the
they're
middle of the
adding
night.
all this stuff to it last minute, and you have to vote on it in order to read it, I guess. I don't know. It's just, obviously, if it was a beautiful bill, wouldn't you do it prime time?
It doesn't get bad press or live press.
Ah,
No
it's
one's watching
ridiculous.
C-SPAN at 2 a.m.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why they're hiding it. So it's not
yeah.
that beautiful, is it? Right. So come on. Anyway, I guess that should end with. We should be
That's basically what's going on.
yeah, in a nutshell.
So the prick of the week, pricks. I think we
Pricks.
have
It's pricks of the week.
Unfortunately.
And I want to say Alito and Thomas, because they're
Supreme Court.
they're the ones that are always against it. They're totally
They're corrupt.
they're corrupt.
They're not voting along the
Anything.
law. They're
No.
not voting. I'm sorry. They're not making orders along with the law.
No, they're
or
not.
the Constitution.
Or the Constitution.
They do not represent justice.
No, not
in
at
this
all. They
country.
take briberies. They go on vacations. They go on, they get cars
They're
and
like, oh my God.
RVs, and they kind of wish they could get the damn palace in the sky.
Yeah, they want the plane.
They want the plane.
They want the plane.
They want the plane.
Well, like, what is his name? Thomas already has his, like, rolling palace that he got.
He got the big RV, didn't he?
Yeah. He used to complain about, like, oh, they don't pay me enough. And then he stopped once they started, someone bought his mom a house. They paid for his kids' college. They gave it, I mean, come on. Is that justice? Is that the
No.
law? Is that ethical? Not at
No.
all. You guys
No.
are pricks.
They are
Those are
pricks.
pricks.
Those are pricks. So those are the pricks of the
Yeah.
day, I think.
And also Johnson,
Who? Johnson, who? Who?
the Speaker of the House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Chuck E.
Johnson.
Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, that's right.
I think you're a prick too.
Yeah, he
Maybe
is
not
a
the prick of the week, but I'm just putting
Yeah.
his name out there.
He's starting to get little stars. That's going to get that maybe next week. We'll see how this bill turns out, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see how this
if you
bill
have a
turns
job.
out.
So they might vote you out.
Oh, God. God,
well,
I wish they would. Okay.
That's it for us.
That's it for this episode.
Don't forget to like,
Share.
share, subscribe, and ring the little
bell.
bell. Everything you do to interact with this video helps us spread the word and keep coming back. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.